Hi, y'all. I'm Allison. Today we'll be proceeding to our next stop in the Start and Stop Betty read of A Pinch of Magic by Michelle Harrison. First of all, straight off the bat, of course, we need to make sure everybody's on the right page. Hopefully, you have at least made it to page 160. If not, you're going to need to backtrack to one of the other videos because I'm going to be reading, reacting, speculating, and spoiling my way through until we get to our next stop. Now, if you have made it to 160, you also have the option to just read along with me. I will put up little chapter breaks on the screen whenever you see one of those. Be sure to read to the end of that chapter before resuming the video. And then you can kind of read with me in quote unquote real time and have everything that I'm talking about really fresh in your mind. Amanda who is the one who recommended this book for our wheel this month. She is actually doing the read along and she says it's really immersive and it's going great. So if anybody else wants to try that, you have the option from here on out to do it. We'll have 2 more stops after this one. Okay, I am really looking forward to getting back into this. We left on quite the cliffhanger last time. Okay, I got interrupted by my phone, which kind of segues into something that I do want to talk to y'all about, do a little bit of myth busting and give you an update on what's going on with me. But we're going to do that at the end of this video because I don't want to derail our Betty read, because first and foremost, this is about the book, but I do think yeah, we'll get into it later. By the way, if you don't want to watch it, that's completely fine. It will not hurt my feelings. I just thought it might be beneficial to somebody, and also want to give you a heads up on the roller coaster that I'm currently on. All right. What was I talking about before the phone rang? We're going to find out if they're going to be able to use Charlie's bag and go over to the prison to break out Colton, or if not. I really hope they are, because I love Charlie, and things got a little bit more serious, not too dark or anything, but I have a feeling Charlie is going to be where we're going to get our comedic relief. And yeah, I like that. I want the charming fairy tale, adorable, funny, yet suspenseful middle grade read, which I think we're in for. Everybody is really enjoying the book so far. We're all really impressed by it. And I am going to stop yakking. We're just going to move over to my chair again, and we're going to read up to our next stop. We have a little bit of a longer segment this time. I think it's almost 100 pages. So I better get started if I'm going to have this edited and ready for y'all tomorrow. Okay, I almost said bye, but not really. We're just going right here. I forgot to turn on my light earlier. Yeah, I'm just not all here. Okay, let's see. Oh, one other thing I want to say is I really like the fast pace of this, which I was quite surprised. I thought there would be a big build-up to the prison break, but it looks like that's not going to happen. And I remember it was Wanda saying, what could go wrong? I'm sure nothing will go wrong with the last second prison break, right? Yeah, but they can't use Charlie's bag. And I have to say, I love the dynamic between these 3 sisters. That's exactly how it would play out with them, just kind of fighting over it. And then the youngest one, my room. I love that. It all rings very true. And I appreciate the fact that they're not, being written immaturely, or they're not being too logical and behaving older than their actual age, but it rings very true and authentic for their age ranges and the way that they would interact with each other. So my hat is off to Michelle Harrison for that. I like how Fliss is trying to say, no, we need to come up with a new plan without Charlie. But he's like, well, she'll just tell Graham. And Charlie's, yep. Sometimes things just slip out or pop out. I love Charlie. Love her. I almost kind of picture the girl from, what was the name of that? Not the Invincibles, with the Minions. what was the name of that movie? With the little girl with the unicorn and saying, it's so fluffy. How am I blank on that movie name? It's not The Invincibles, is it? I'm mad at myself for that one. Anyway, back to the book. Charlie gave the wrong prisoner number. Uh-oh. Oh, no. Imagine being prisoner 531 and they appear. Because I think, I don't know if, again, if it was Wanda who mentioned, imagine Colton's surprise when they just appear, but at least he would be expecting them. Imagine the other prisoner. He's going to totally flip his lid. Or what if the prisoner's not in his cell? What if he's out, visitation and all the guards are there and they pop up? Yeah, they did not think this through. Oh no. Solitary confinement and he's got Charlie. I love Charlie. She's trying to explain why they're noisy ghosts. For a second, I thought he was going to use their bag and escape himself, but I forgot. She's the only one who can use it, thankfully. They just escaped from the 531 over to Colton's cell. And somewhere I didn't even realize they brought Jared, the big guy, with them. I don't know, maybe he's going to be the muscle. Maybe he'll actually turn out to be beneficial to the girls because he was there under deplorable conditions. Maybe he really has a big heart underneath it all. I don't know. We don't know what he's in jail for, but it can't be anything good if he's in solitary. He's knocked out. Jared's going to come in handy because they can disguise him so the guards won't notice that Colton's gone as quickly. So maybe that's his purpose. Okay, so they've got a plan. They looked into something, and Fliss is kind of like, we know good luck when we see it because they always have bad luck. So I don't know. I'm loving it still, though. Although I'm a little curious what Charlie's about to do because she was fidgeting and her hand was darting under her coat. Well, caught Betty's notice, but she didn't really ask what was going on. So hopefully Charlie doesn't have her own idea to throw into the mix. We don't know. Oh, it's Charlie's tooth. She's hoping to catch the tooth fairy with. I forgot about that. Little bag. Oh no. Charlie's offering to bash Jared over the head to make sure he doesn't wake up. Oh no, when Charlie lost Hoppet, she brought the rat with her. This is intense. So her tooth is missing and the rat is missing, and that leaves signs that they were there. I don't want the little rat to be left behind. Oh no, they are going to pull Jared with them. That was intense. And I like how they did that, pulling Jared along with them. Because I thought they were going to leave him behind, but I love it. And I do have to say, I think Michelle Harrison is very clever. Because the way that she's bringing along the characters that need to join in on this little quest is really well done. As far as like the bag only working for Charlie, so therefore she has to be there. And the way of, adding the rat into it and making it an integral part of the story to where that brings the big giant, hopefully with a big heart, along as their protector, then I think this is just so cleverly done And I haven't seen one done this well in a while. There's no like shortcuts where you're just kind of like, it's a good story, I'll accept it and move on. But this is, yeah, I'm really impressed. Despicable Me, that was the name of the movie with the minions and the little girl with the unicorn. It's so fluffy. Sorry, it just back to the book. He doesn't know. He lied to him, didn't he? Charlie just marched up to Colton, icily said, "My rat." She wants it back. I just love her. Yep, Jared escaped. He's gone. Dun dun dun. I still think he's going to come to I think he's going to be brought into the group. That's my prediction. I even like how, given Betty's interest in travel, everything, and how she started collecting maps, it's again another clever way for them to be able to find their way to the three caves instead of wandering aimlessly around the Lament Island. So very cleverly done once again. Seems like everything that happens has a purpose. Yeah, there was a discussion in the comments. I can't remember who brought it up. I'm sorry, but kind of getting an unsettling vibe from the attention that Fliss gets from men. And while I did notice that, of course, they're drawn to her beauty, I didn't really think too much of it. I just figured they were setting it up that Colton was either going to be, more impressed by Betty than her beautiful sister, or that he wasn't going to be swayed by Fliss's beauty at all, that it wasn't going to be a factor for him. And it seems that's the case, that he's not enthralled by her looks. He's just giving her a hard time. So I think Fliss will find that reassuring, and it'll be a way to possibly create a romantic connection for them. We will see. And I think, too, another reason for doing that, because again, I don't know, I think it might have been Stacy who had brought it up initially, but it might also be a way to show younger readers that being beautiful doesn't necessarily mean life is wonderful for you, that there's a downside to that too, that sometimes you don't want to draw all that of attention, and that it can be unsettling. So anyway, that's my take on that. And feel free to disagree with me, of course. I'm surprised that the stuff was actually in the cave like Colton thought. I half expected it to be empty and, just a myth front that the prisoners told each other for a sign of hope. He doesn't know. I knew it. She's going to force him to work along with him. Surely he's going to stay, right? He's got to become part of their group. He was going to even steal their bag. Uh-oh, Jared's there. And he's got Charlie. Okay, I did not foresee that coming. So much for the gentle giant plan I had. Oh, damn. Now it's going to turn into a rescue mission for Charlie. They're going to have until sundown to bring her home, I bet. How can he take Charlie? I like Charlie. I like them all, but oh, cute little Charlie. So now he's using the sisters against each other. He's threatening to break Fliss's arm if Charlie doesn't do what he wants. Although I'm sure Fliss would gladly take a broken arm to save her sister. Ooh, and now we got the leering, sinister man who's notice Fliss's beauty. I was thinking they were going to have to track her down. They're going to have to break the curse before midnight to save the two. The plot thickens. And Colton is going to be willing to help. He's going to do anything he can to help Betty because he feels so guilty that they were put in jeopardy. And Betty's going to have to accept his help because there's going to be nobody else there. Again, cleverly done. It's not... This is a completely reasonable reason for everything to be happening. I love this author. Love it. Provided that it plays out like I just said. Unless she comes up with something even better, because I didn't expect Jared's character, so who knows. Although, how can Betty just let them go? Because the odds of her actually being able to break the curse are not good at all. How does she... Oh, okay. They do have the mirror. I forgot about the mirror. Ha! They're thinking more than I am. Okay, yeah, because Fliss can tell them where they are. Okay, we're back in play again. So there is a chance it's not that unreasonable for Betty to let them go, because there's hope. Oh, that was intense. They're gone. So now Betty has to break the curse. What if the curse isn't actually real? Although it is. There's no way it's not. I do like how, as Colton pointed out, Jared didn't have time to plan this, so it's very reasonable that he wouldn't just vanish somewhere far out of reach. He needs to figure out what he's going to do to give himself a chance. So he's going to have to get some money, I would assume. So maybe that's what he's trying to, at the very least, he's going to need money or supplies or clothing, or, he may even have loved ones that he wants to go check on, or who knows, maybe revenge. There's no telling why he's in solitary, or was in solitary. So, yeah, he's going to be running on pure emotion, I would assume. At least at the beginning, before he can come up with a plan. That was intense. They're trying to get past the devil's teeth. That was crazy. So well done. Yeah, that would bind you together, because, that was some good teamwork that they had. They really had to trust each other to get through there. Yeah, so Jared's a murderer. No surprise there. And he needs the girls. So he can't really hurt them, because if he actually does hurt Fliss, there's no way Charlie will use the bag. So he's got to... They've got a very delicate balance going at the moment. They need each other. They need Jared just not to kill them, and Jared needs them. So that will kind of guarantee the girl's safety for a little bit at least. Especially once you add the timeline to it, because Jared knows he only has until sunset, and then the girls are supposed to die and the bag will be useless. So if he has to spend all of his time threatening them and coercing Charlie into doing what he wants, then that's going to lessen how much time he can actually spend getting away. At least, granted, it is instantaneous, but still, we'll take anything we can get, right? I like how Colton's telling Betty that she should rest because she's going to need her strength. And I like how the author chose to have Betty say that my tummy is all tied up in knots, because that reminds you that she is a young girl. She's not, older. She's way in over her depth. Just using that one word, saying my tummy instead of my stomach or my nerves, just, I don't know, that resonated with me. It's talking about the 4 words written on the walls in the tower from Sorcia's cell. Malice, injustice, betrayal, and escape. And the only other word there was Windershins. So, yeah, I bet their ancestors were the reason that Sorcia was jailed to begin with. But wait. Why would they end up with the magical gifts from Sorcia? I think they're her descendants, not the family responsible. I don't know. So even though they painted the walls to cover all the words, the next day every word was back. That's cool. I thought they painted them. He's in there, scrubbed them. Anyway. Okay. I got caught up in it. So I want to know what Granny and the girl's father was arguing about, unless it was just him trying to convince Granny to break him out of prison before he was transferred. And why was he transferred? We still don't even know why he's in jail. So many questions with the dad, which hopefully we'll get answers to later. But they just spotted a light. There's another boat coming. Thankfully, this isn't our stop, but we're about to run into it because we're now moving on to chapter 18. So we're going to go from here up until up until chapter 19. I forgot. We don't have to watch for a specific line and everything. This will be our last chapter before we have to close the book. I feel like we're going to have a huge cliffhanger. That's right. I forgot about the nesting dolls. How do I keep forgetting about their other objects? It just shows how caught up I am in the story that I forgot they can go invisible and they can see with the mirror. So he doesn't know about the dolls. I like how she's saying that they got all their bad habits from Granny after she just bit off a string from his collar to make them so she could put it inside the nesting doll so they can go invisible. That would be so terrifying because even though, he looked into the water and he didn't see his own reflection, just sitting there silently, it would be the equivalent of closing your eyes and saying, you can't see me, because that's how you would feel. It's like, because they can still see each other. I bet, having trust that you actually are invisible and not moving and talking, well, they could move, but they couldn't talk. That would have to be so disconcerting. Yeah. You'd just be holding your breath the whole time going, you can't see me. How nerve-wracking that would be. Good planning on Betty's part. I wouldn't have thought to cover my breath because your breath would be warmer. Imagine how much that would freak you out, though, if you reached down and everything's really cold and all of a sudden you felt a warm breath on your arm. That would be so creepy. Fingarity. Maybe he'll help them. I wonder if Fingarity can see them. Just a hunch, but I wonder if he knows they're there. Oh, no, I guess not. But he senses their weight because the boat is off balance. Sneaky. Clever, clever, clever. She's whispering in Fingarity's ear. I bet the poor man just had a heart attack. Oh, she's going to make Fingarity disappear too. And then Pike is going to flip his lid. She's hissing his name, Tobias Pike. She's doing a good job of being scary. For some reason, that made me think of the Scooby-Doo cartoon. I don't know why. Those meddling kids. Dun, dun, dun. She trusted the wrong person, Sorcia. So we're going to get the rest of Sorcia's tale. So they are descendants, and these are supposed to protect the girls, which is, what I kind of thought at the beginning. So, but why would she trap them on the island? Is it maybe she thought that was the only place that they would be safe? Maybe she tried to leave. I don't know. That was so good. But I will be right back. I need some more water. Okay. I am dying to know what else happens, but we have to wait. So we've reached the stop, and that means we have to close our book and set it aside until the next video comes out. If you're watching this later, then I'm going to challenge you to wait at least 24 hours before picking your book back up again. Allow some time for the anticipation to build in, for your mind to start trying to piece together what could potentially happen, and it just adds so much to the book. Now, if you're trying to do these as the videos are going out, then if you don't have a full 24 hours to wait, want to catch up, then by all means, go ahead. It's ultimately your choice. I'm not policing you, obviously. Our next stop is going to take us 82% into the book, and that will be in chapter 22, towards the beginning. The paperback and hardcover, that'll put you on page 325. For at least one version of the digital book, that'll be page 185. There's another version that's being read that I know of, but I don't know what page the story ends on, so I can't give you a page number. I'm sorry. And for audio, it'll be 8 hours and 2 minutes in. And the line you were looking for, when you reach this line, close your book. As they searched the streets for any sign of a mill, Betty got the ... So when you reach that, close your book and wait for the next video to come out. Or if you want to read along with me, then that's the point that we will start next time. Now, of course, if you're trying to catch up with the videos and you want to be ready for when the next one comes out, then read ahead if you want. It's up to you. The next video will come out the day after tomorrow. And if you're come to this after we've already completed our little readathon, then I challenge you to wait at least 24 hours before proceeding to the next stop. That'll allow time for the story to sink in, and you'll start wondering and maybe coming up with different ideas of what the sisters could get into next and how they're going to get out of the predicament. So I am really enjoying this book. It's so much fun, and it just gets better and better. I will definitely be reading this series unless the ending tanks for some reason, which I will be shocked if that happens. So I can't wait to find out what's going to happen next. So good. Now, as I alluded at the beginning, I do want to share something with y'all and dispel a myth, maybe give somebody ease in the future. By the way, feel free to skip this. It's not going to hurt my feelings. I do not want to derail the book discussion at all. So definitely talk about the books down in the comments. If you want to address this as well, that's fine. But I don't want it to overtake anything by any means. But I thought this was important to share because for the past week, 8 days ago, I got a call from a doctor. I had done one of those screenings that you get once you reach 50. You know, you have to go in and you're doing all sorts of tests every year, and that's to get ahead in case there's something comes up. And I had to do one of those at-home colon tests, Cologuard, which apparently now they're starting to recommend those once you reach 45, doing a colonoscopy to check for signs of colon cancer. Well, my test results came back positive for the at-home one. So the doctor called and I had to go in to have a colonoscopy done. I just did this yesterday, so on Monday. And up until the point that I did it, I was a bundle of nerves. Obviously, because, one, I had to go do it. And two, because you hear all these horrors, so, colonoscopy, oh no. And that's one of the myths I wanted to dispel for y'all, that even if you do have to do one, don't be overwhelmed by fear from it, because, I had to drink 4 liters of this. It came in a powder, and they added a little lemon back to it for flavor. Just a second. And you also have to fast for like 24 hours. So needless to say, I was really dreading doing this. To say I wasn't looking forward to it was a understatement, but I was really anxious and apprehensive and nervous and kind of scared of the whole process. So I filled mine with cold water from the fridge, and then you put it in the fridge for at least 24 hours, so it was really cold. It had like no taste at all, very subtle lemon. So I was relieved by that, because you hear about how awful this stuff tastes. I guess there's 2 versions. So if you find that you have to do one, ask if you can get like the powdered one that you mix yourself. And as far as not eating it all, that wasn't a big deal, because I was so full of water that I was never hungry. So you drink it in like 8 ounces at a time, which on my cup is like here. And you have to down it in like 10 minutes. So you're just constantly guzzling. And it's just a little marathon. But there's no discomfort, there's no pain, there's nothing. You're just going back and forth from the bathroom to the fridge. I kept mine in the fridge cold. So I was so busy with that, I didn't have time to be upset or anxious. Like I said, I wasn't in pain. I wasn't even hungry, because I was so full of water. And then, I had to go into my thing in the morning, terrified, out of my mind. As readers, we have very vivid imaginations. So I was imagining all sorts of things. It was a walk in the park, no discomfort at all once I got home. The procedure took like 20 minutes. But I'm not out of the woods yet. They did find I've got some polyps, and they're being sent off for a biopsy. So now I have to wait for 2 weeks to get the results. So good thing is, if it is anything bad, if they're not benign, then we'll be catching it at the very beginning, and it should be beatable, no problem. So I am, needless to say, on a very emotional roller coaster right now. But I really wanted to share with y'all that when it is your time to do a colonoscopy, don't buy into all the myths and the hype and the fear that you hear about it. It's not that bad, which I was really surprised by. I'm optimistic that my test will come back okay. And if that's the case, then I don't have to worry about it again for 3 more years. So I'm just grateful that they found it, because if not, if it would have been found when I was actually having health issues from it, then who knows how bad it would have been. So, trying to keep optimistic and upbeat and not get all up in my head about it. So for that reason, this book is perfect escape. But I'll admit, I had a really hard time forcing myself to pick this up today. I just didn't. I was like, no, I don't want to do that. But I'm just going to persevere through. I started playing my Sims yesterday, because that's the Sims, you have control, and control feels very important right now. So main reason I wanted to share is just so y'all know what's going on. And so if I go a little quiet, if I'm slower to respond, or videos are a little delayed, it's probably because I'm just up in my head. I'm sure everything will be fine. If I can erase that unease for someone else when it's your turn to go have this, a colonoscopy done, then I think it's definitely worth sharing, just to know that it's not as terrifying, or it's not terrifying. It's not as horrific as its reputation is. So I thought I'd bust that myth for y'all. Oh, and I found out that half the people, when they do a colonoscopy, they either get ravenous or they're not hungry at all. I was one that wasn't hungry at all. So I lucked out on that. And if your doctor offers you the choice of doing the Cologuard at home or doing the colonoscopy, don't do the Cologuard at home, because apparently the American Medical Association is now saying that those aren't effective, because you can get just as many false positive results as you can get false negative results. I learned that from our specialist, who we already had on speed dial, because my kids have celiac. So I already have a GI doctor. And the unreliability of it was also reinforced by the nurses when I did go in for the procedure, and they do them like all day long. So while it's a little easier, it's not worth it. Just go straight for the full test. All right. Again, I didn't, well, I'll be optimistic, but I thought this was important to share, that if I can alleviate somebody's unease, if I could alleviate somebody's unease a little bit down the road when you get older, or if there's somebody else in my age bracket and, you're having to go and do your first one, it's really not as bad as you hear. Okay, on that note, I am going to say bye for now. I will see y'all the day after tomorrow. And like I said, I don't want this to overrun our book discussion. So I am still excited about the book, and I think distractions and being optimistic are the way to go on this. And I'm just going to take what comes as it comes and try not to get too up in my head about it, and because it's not going to change anything, no matter how scared I am. So I hope to see y'all soon.